chose to be on the board because I have a passion for kids, and when we first started our business, we toured the Children's Advocacy Center, and as I walked through the hallways and saw the walls lined with the handprints and the kids' names on them and ages, and knew that those were real kids who had real life situations with physical and sexual abuse, it broke my heart. And from that point forward, I committed to making a difference for these kids. They deserve better. They deserve people to stand in the gap for them. And that's what the staff members do, law enforcement, the DA's office, board members. All of us have hearts to serve these kids.
Really, I didn't have a choice, to tell you the truth. My company had a service project involving the CAC. We collected teddy bears and blankets, and part of that was Deanna Sims giving us a tour of the facility. So, man, that was impactful. When I left there, I started educating myself on the mission of the CAC and the problems that they solved. And once I clearly understood it, I knew that doing nothing was no longer an option. I had to personally get involved.
You know, I got involved with the CAC back in 2007, but it wasn't until 2013 when I figured out what really went on there and found out about the stats. 1 in 4 girls, 1 in 6 boys will be sexually assaulted by their 18th birthday. That's when I figured out I needed to help. I've always lived under the motto that if I can help, I should. And that's why I serve on this board. I believe it's our job to make sure that this staff has what they need, has the tools that they need to do their job and do it well. And we know what they go through every day, and but they come to work to serve these children and to serve these protective caregivers as best they can. I've watched them work right alongside law enforcement, CPS, and the district attorney's office to help prosecute the perpetrator, but then walk in and hold a protective caregiver's hand and walk them through the system and walk them through the process.
Because I wholeheartedly believe in the effectiveness of the multidisciplinary approach to investigating and prosecuting child abuse cases. About 25 years ago, I made a commitment to serve on a CAC board of directors wherever I lived. That commitment stemmed from my experience working as a family therapist in Houston in the early 1990s, and then as a director of clinical services at a CAC in Augusta, Georgia. I witnessed the trauma that those children experienced, having to tell the details of their story over and over. And as therapists in those cases, we also followed them through the criminal court proceedings, and we witnessed also just the chaos of there being a lack of communication, lack of coordination between all the various agencies that were involved in those cases because they did not have a multidisciplinary approach. After we left Houston and moved to Augusta, Georgia, I served as the clinical director at a CAC where we did have a multidisciplinary approach. And while I was working there, I was able to see the benefit of having a multidisciplinary approach and the benefits to the child and the family and the benefit to all the agencies involved.
As a board member for the Children's Advocacy Center of Smith County, I have the opportunity to help be the voice for our youngest and most vulnerable members of society. I see the effects of students affected by child abuse in my role as the principal of Lindale Junior High, and partnering with the CAC allows me to stand together with board members and the staff of the Advocacy Center as we work together to provide a safe place for families to tell their story. A safe place for families to begin to heal and recover from the trauma caused by child abuse. And I consider it to be a privilege and an honor to serve in this capacity.
The follow-up therapy with victims after the act occurred is sometimes overlooked by our community, as it takes lots of therapy for these sexually abused kids to return to society. Therefore, I urge anyone to actively support this program in the future.
But children who are abused and neglected, including those who just witness domestic violence, are a lot more at risk for exhibiting all kinds of emotional, long-term cognitive and behavioral problems. They're at a higher risk for depression, for suicide, for behavior problems in school, for early use of alcohol and other drugs, early sexual activity. It's a dark, sad, violent, hopeless circle that I know can be broken. I love the CAC's focus on prevention through education. Prevention of child abuse and neglect requires public education and a strong commitment from our community and from us to provide the emotional, the social, and the financial resources, the support systems for families necessary to break that cycle of violence and hopelessness.
Just an incredible organization, and I'm very proud that I have served on this board this long and look forward to many more years. It's a passion of mine. I want to help. It's something that really needs to be done. The organization is one of the strongest nonprofits in East Texas, really, but certainly in Smith County, and I'm proud to serve. Thank you very much.